Man, I can make so many things about this. Anyway, Talk to Transformer. This is a really amazing type of website that allows you to transform anything that you write in the prompt here, and it adds words after it, creating some sort of story. After you create the first part, it ends with the words after it. But here's what I did to this one, interestingly. This is what happened. Before all of this, I'll show you what I didn't record the first one because anyway, here we go. I have a list of all the things I've wrote. So I wrote these things here. It says all I did, this is what I started with. I'll show you. I started with this sentence. Interesting subject is that. That's all I put in there. I'm not kidding. And the AI generated this. In the case of the British, not only was it not seen as a subject of political activity, it was actually discouraged by the royal family, as was the idea that you must not touch these subjects, that they were unworthy of discussion. But in the case of the Americans, the British tried to suppress it by creating the famous McCarthyite hysteria. I'm sorry, I don't know. That the McCarthyite attacks on McCarthyism, the witch hunts, the anti-communist propaganda were spreading disorder, instability, and crime. A classic example of this was when George Bush, President of the United States, said that all Americans should feel free to vote for whomever they want on any subject. The truth is much different. The only subjects of political activity are those which are within our country's immediate concerns. As long as we allow the United States to engage in warfare abroad, in the sense that it is a legitimate target, and as long as we are not engaged in wars which kill hundreds of thousands of people, as well as destroying democratic systems, while creating conditions of inequality, we are in no position to consider a political action. To be sure, this is what I wrote down later, you'll see. I want to continue the story because it was really interesting. Anyway, to be sure, there are important differences between the United States, Russia, and China. The two countries are different in their policies and politics, but a serious analysis reveals that there are fundamental differences, with China in particular plain A. It ended like that, with plain A on this. See, it ended with that. That's why I took the last part, the last paragraph, and I put it in this, and I decided to record it, which is what I'm doing right now. And here's what it did. To be sure, there are important. I already. Sorry. Anyway, I'll go to here. With China in particular playing a different game, trying to use the United States to its own ends rather than simply as a partner in the global effort to reduce climate change. The United States and China will remain the two largest trading partners in the next decade. As I noted above, so someone is writing this. The United States and Russia are the two largest commercial partners in global trade. In the near term, China's expansion into energy and transport will lead to further decline in trade between the countries. But the United States and Russia will remain the two largest trading partners in the next decade. Because, as we have seen, the Chinese economy needs a lot more domestic support. This is complex, man. The Chinese leadership knows the magnitude of the challenge for the United States. Even more important, President 5 Xi. I'm sorry, I need to find out what Roman numbers are or something. Jinping. I'm sorry if I don't know how to pronounce that. Anyway, seems to recognize that there is a real risk of a great recession in the United States before he is ousted. As a consequence, he is working feverishly to strengthen both the Chinese and the United States' economies. through stronger investment in energy infrastructure, higher domestic prices of goods, in an effort to increase exports of U.S. technology and services, and the purchase of some U.S. crude oil. Holy crap, this is amazing. All I wrote down was the first thing all I wrote down was interesting subject is that it all started with this after it. I'm not kidding. How to come up with this, I don't know, but this is amazing. So yeah. Yep.